All right, it's Trial Tuesday with attorney David Aylor, and it's the game we've all been playing, or at least talking about, Pokemon Go. Attorney David Aylor joins us with some legal tips to keep in mind while we play. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Have you been playing?
Like I said, I played once, and then...
How'd it go?
I caught one right away. I think they just kind of pop up when you turn
Right.
it on, and then I was done.
That was it.
But what scared me is, and I think they've changed this, but initially it said that it was a huge, like, security issue. Like, if you signed up with Google, it was gathering all your information, but there's also a lot of other legal issues, right?
There seems to be a lot that keep popping up.
Sure.
We've already seen in the news a lot of different things. Probably the first thing that I noticed, one issue was trespassing, because, you know, as people go online and they start to play this, you're going different places, traveling to pick these, you know, catch them, rather, not pick them up, but catch the Pokemon, is that they were going into private property. And, you know, anytime you go somewhere that's private property, ultimately you could at least be warned or even actually cited for trespassing. So that's one issue that's come up.
And I think we actually had someone call the station complaining about that.
Really?
And are people just so, like, wrapped up in the game that they're not even realizing?
Yeah, I think they're not paying attention because they're just kind of get to the next level and they're going places they shouldn't go. There's even some issues about going into military zones that people were going. They really get so addicted to it, they just don't really know what they're doing. We're also seeing people walk out into roadways. You know, you've even seen some car accidents, you know, where people are either stopping in the roadway because they're trying to get out and catch a Pokemon, believe it or not, or, you know, of course, actually driving, similar to text message issues that we've talked about so much on here, and then, you know, running into the car in front of them. Yeah,
so, and we've seen, I know we had a couple pictures of, like, one right at Marion Square, one right at Calhoun Street, so I can see you're just walking along, not paying attention.
Right.
In step. You know, is it that addictive? I mean, you and I don't really play, but that we're seeing problems like this?
Yeah, I think right now, particularly since it's so new and people are so competitive, you know, and it's something that, you know, unlike most video games, you're actually getting outside. So a lot of parents are, you know, pretty excited about it for some reason. But also you're seeing so many adults, the generations that when Pokemon originally came out, the folks are a little bit older, so they're getting out and you're seeing people do it in groups. You go in these gyms and you kind of, you know, in some ways battle each other. So more and more people are into it for a lot of different reasons. Yeah, there's some, you see how many people right there in Marion Square are into it, and that would be, of course, a safe zone. It's a public place. You're not a lot of traffic out there as far as motor vehicles, but then
that guy's
there
right
you
on
go,
the street.
right there. That might be a walk zone, maybe not, but if you went there when the lights crossing, you could have an issue.
What about robberies? You know, people could be by themselves, walking through a park late at night, you know, places you'd never normally go. I imagine it's not very safe.
Again, you know, I think people get too wrapped up in the game, and we have heard different reports across the country where people are going in places that aren't safe. Again, whether that be private property and people are, you know, living at those homes in private areas and they're concerned about who's coming in there. But also, yeah, they're actually people getting robbed because they're going places that aren't safe, and then they're ultimately putting themselves in a dangerous situation. So you got to be careful and you got to be aware about where you're going because there's definitely some liability issues for the gamer themselves.
Where do you see this going? Like a month from now, is it going to fizzle out, or a month from now we're going to have like real problems with people trespassing? And
I think you're going to definitely see some issues from the traffic side of it, because a lot of people are going to continue to play, and unfortunately, just like text messaging, they're going to continue to play while they're driving, and that's going to cause some accident issues. I think you're also going to see some issues with the jaywalking, people playing, you know, and trying to cross the street when they're not supposed to. Or just not paying attention and just walking into the road, trying to go catch a Pokemon. So those are the type of things that we're really going to, you know, unfortunately probably have some people that are injured from it. But it's just like anything else. If you're responsible, you probably won't have issues.
So if there's like a really appealing, rare Pokemon, but it's like on private property, what's your advice?
You need to just pass it up. Or you're going to be taking a risk. You know, I guess it depends on what level you're really trying to get to.
Don't do it. Did you envision a month ago that we'd be talking about a virtual game where we catch...
I did not, but as the popularity
Who knows what we'll be doing next month, right?
You know, this is probably one of the oddest topics we've had.
It is, but it's very popular, and as always, you're full of great information. Thank you so much, as always. Trial Tuesday with attorney David Aylor. And coming up, we are going road tripping. This time we're going to Wadmalaw Island. Rob Malia joins us next from Firefly Distillery right after this.